Poshmark has been obnoxiously slow past week or so. This is a We the Free or Free People top. Sold for 13 bucks plus shipping. Vineyard Vines polo shirt. Vineyard Vines has been doing a little better for me than it has in the past. This was in my overrated brands video. And Vineyard Vines has been pleasantly consistent lately. So maybe there's been an uptick in demand. 23 bucks for this. I sourced this for $5. This is Untuck It, which is, I think, my favorite dress shirt brand to sell now. There are dress shirts that are definitely worth more money, but you don't find them that much. This is the one dress shirt brand that you find consistently, relatively, that does sell for some pretty good money. This is a J. Crew Henley. It's a linen blend. It's a knit. Found this at the bins. Total no-brainer. Bins pickup, 27 bucks. J. Crew, the sell is so-so. The sell-through is so-so. The right thing can definitely be worth picking up. This is a video gaming shirt. Awesome Games Done Quick. It's like a charity speed running event. And this sold for 12 bucks. This would have been a bins pickup, I think. This is a peasant top, I think. Peasant crop top, 11 bucks. I'm glad that this one finally did sell. I picked this up on a whim probably half a year ago, at least, at a Goodwill, and it sat around for a long time. I just looked at it and my eye told me that's gonna sell, and it did, but it took a long time. 18 bucks. Pair of board shorts. Swim stuff is starting to pick up in terms of the sales. This had 2 flaws, 3 flaws, 4 flaws more. $15 for Hang 10. Would have been a bins pickup. The brand Hang 10 is very so-so. Sell. These are Madewells, and they took forever to sell. Usually Madewell is pretty solid. I think the sell-through has fallen a bit in the past year or two, because I used to pick this up anytime I found it, even at retail at Goodwills, and that's no longer the case. It's owned by the same company that owns J. Crew, or owned J. Crew, I should say. I don't know if they're still in operation at all in terms of retail space. But this is the women's side, and these sold for 35 bucks. Madewell, like J. Crew, is convenient in that they have style codes. L8431 is the style number, and they're very easy to look up. Not every brand is this straightforward. This was a gift from my neighbor, who's given me a bunch of stuff. Stars Above, pretty bad brand. I think they sell it at Target or Walmart or something. And it was a 2-piece sweat suit, flipped for 20 bucks. You may have seen a video that was the instant gratification haul, where I did a haul and then I shot what sold on those items a month later. And this was in there as one that didn't sell at the time, obviously, and it has since sold, 21 bucks. I spent 8 on it, and it was really kind of a hair-raising buy for me, because Mountain Hardwear is pretty middling in terms of sell-through and price. It's hard to pass on, though, because it's associated in my mind with brands like Patagonia and Cool, but it's just lower end. It's not as nice as that stuff. It's not even quite as nice as North Face. In terms of the demand and price, I mean, in terms of quality, it's all basically identical. Yeah, wish that the numbers were a little stronger. This should be a pretty good brand for shorts and long pants, convertible pants, hiking pants, and vented shirts, fishing shirts. I've talked about this to death on the channel, but spring, early summer should be pretty good for this brand. eBay's definitely been stronger than Poshmark, but it is pretty up and down. It's a little bit frustrating, but you just go through these periods where things don't appear to work. This I picked up at a flea market for, would have been quarter, 50 cents. It's a terrible album. I actually listened to it before listing it. It's hilariously bad. In fact, I recommend that you go and find it on YouTube, because the first track may make you lull, might even make you ruffle. This one made me ruffle. This is from the bag sale of yore, way back in the day. It's a Pitbull t-shirt that I would have picked up for 25, 50 cents again. Finally sold for 10 bucks. This one's from the bins. I bought it just because it was what it is. Turns out the brand is pretty strong, I think. The numbers were pretty good. Really surprised this took as long to flip as it did. I think this was up for at least a month before it flipped. I think longer. I think it was 2 or 3 months. Really like this brand, FootJoy. The L there is the size. That's not a trademark or a copyright symbol, that's the size. And these soft shell jackets have historically done really well for me. They've been kind of no-brainer flippers. And I'm a little taken aback that this didn't flip within a couple weeks of it being listed. But so it didn't. It did sell for 25 bucks. God, this one was a pain. It's a Cinch shirt. Cinch is a Western wear company. They do like contemporary looking shirts like this, and it's been consistently really a good seller. I got so aggressively lowballed on this shirt. I don't know why. RHON is a superior brand. It's really good. Oh, before I forget, turns out Vuori now may be off the table for reselling on eBay. It's apparently now a Vero brand. I got a DM from Yumbo showing me a letter that he got asking for verification that he's a certified seller from them. So I've heard this from a couple other people too. Really a shame, really bad news. It's probably my favorite brand to flip. I'll probably keep flipping it. I cannot imagine finding Vuori at the thrift and not buying it to resell somewhere. Anyway, RHON is kind of in that category. I don't find it barely ever anymore, but I always pick up everything that I do find from RHON. It's kind of in the Lululemon family of clothing brands, really just in terms of the aesthetics and the feel of the fabric, and it's athleisure stuff. I have never ever had a challenge selling anything with RHON branding on it, including this, which is a corporate polo shirt, and someone pointed out that this is actually a pretty big company, so pretty big employee base apparently. Maybe it was an employee, maybe it was just someone that wanted a relatively cheap RHON polo. I priced this at 25, which is on the lower end for RHON. Still flipped. Probably 2 or 3 months later I'd have to go back and find it in the old haul videos, but still a pretty quick flip for being a corporate polo shirt. I'm again skipping over a bunch of boring low value everyday flips. This is a Derrick Rose shirt, 22 bucks. This is a bins pickup. This was a frustrating one. I've gotten hit with a bunch of returns lately. They just come in waves in my experience, and I'm riding the crest of the return wave. This is one of them. This sold for 73. I had this priced up at, I think, like 120 or 100 or something, and I knocked 20 bucks off the price and got a bunch of lookers immediately. Got a bunch of interest and offers, which goes to show suits are great for quick flipping, for underpricing, for racing to the bottom on, because you can get pretty quick flips off of them. And the guy didn't read the measurements or didn't believe me when I made them, and turns out the sleeves were dramatically too short for him. So back my way it comes. I do not offer free returns. I don't think I've talked about this on the channel for a long time. I know a lot of clothing resellers do. To my memory of doing free returns, that's insane to me, because a lot of people abused the free return system. They would rent it, or they would just want to try it on and then they would send it back. They wouldn't do their diligence, look at the description, or think twice about the purchase. And maybe that evens out in the end. Maybe there are more impulse buys that cover the cost of all the returns, but it just wasn't worth it for me at the time. So I do paid returns. So returns don't bother me that much. Not that they did then, but they certainly don't now. This is one of those examples of the sell-through metric model just not working. Sometimes it just doesn't work. I found these shorts, Nike ACG, all conditions gear, shorts at a Goodwill. I looked up the sell-through was stellar, the prices were stellar. I put it up and it sat and sat and sat for almost a year. Finally flipped for 20 bucks, which is really not that much for a nicer pair of Nike hiking shorts like this, or performance shorts. Sometimes it just doesn't work. The universe does not bend to your wishes and whims. It's not a perfect system. It's more perfect than any other form of sourcing that I've figured out how to do with clothing, but it still doesn't work all the time, even for your boy. This is the second of these youth size wetsuits that I picked up at the bins. And these were great flips, 15 bucks. Yeah, it's not a whole lot of money, but picked it up at the bins, and they were first class. They're really small. They were both only about that big or so, and very easy to list, and they sold pretty quickly. And this is the time of year to sell these kinds of things. This is probably the final Vuori sale that you will see in one of these videos from eBay, at least. Salute, RIP to Vuori. For me, I'm not risking it on my eBay account anymore. So it goes. Thankfully, there are hundreds of other clothing brands to resell. If you don't know those, Menswear Manifesto, link is in the description. It's a free or pay what you want product that will explain everything that you need to know about brands other than Vuori. These are fashion magazines from Japan from 2009. They're pretty rare, pretty in demand. Japanese fashion stuff has done pretty well with me on the book side of things, and this lot of two sold for $66. If I were to go back in time, I would probably just list these independently and they would have flipped right away. But I got them at a Goodwill together, so I sold them together. I got this at a library book sale and had my knuckles rapped by a couple of commenters because I said that this was outsider cartooning, and it was not. So it is insider cartoons from 1988. It's a calendar, and New Seal, the guy that bought it, was extremely excited that he found it on eBay, that I had listed it. So it's pretty gratifying. A pair of vintage Bugle Boy cargo shorts. Bugle Boy, I have yet to make up my mind on. I find it every once in a while. Most of it is vintage, and the sell-through is just okay, on the low end of just okay. But I got this at the bins, and this was a pretty quick flip, actually, even though it had some kind of PP stain there, maybe. Yeah, I think I would pick this up again. And cargo shorts like this, vintage cargo shorts, are apparently still on trend. This is a pair of linen blend shorts, women's shorts, that I picked up at the bins. Linen is gonna be a good pickup from here on until the end of summer. I really love to find 100% linen, really anything from a brand that is even just okay, even if it's just a middling brand. If you find 100% linen and it's cheap, I more often than not am very happy to take that risk because it usually pays off. Pretty rare that I find something like a J. Crew linen, especially Baird McNutt linen from J. Crew is always a good seller, like Brooks Brothers linen, Express, H&M, these brands that normally I don't touch. If I find 100% linen, especially in bigger sizes, happy to pick it up, as long as it's not too expensive. And that's not Free People. Free People's a pretty good brand. This is another free item donated to me by the neighbor. Another 100% linen piece. It's new with tags. I don't think the brand is really anything special. Flipped it for 22 bucks. Pair of Billabong shorts, 17 bucks. Just everyday bread and butter. If you find these for less than a couple bucks, I would pick them up. And again, any of the like middling swim companies and up, if you find it for $1, $2, it's the time of the year where the market is really strong for shorts, and it's just gonna get stronger. This is a women's 3X that triggered a return because it didn't fit the person that bought it. It looks like linen in the photos, but I think it's cotton. It's a pullover. Ralph Lauren is mostly women's. They do some men's clothing, but not that much of it. And it's on the low end. It's above chaps and below everything else, in my mind. Pair of basic Dickies, flipped for 18 bucks used. This is a bins pickup. I, frustratingly, bought, I think it was 55 or so pairs of new with tags Dickies slacks, mostly for youth, like girls' sizes, and not a single one has sold yet, which is pretty distressing because I think I spent like 100 bucks on that purchase. It was 75% off everything, all of those Dickies, and they're taking up an entire bin, and they're not selling, which is pretty cool. This one did. Lucky Brand top from the bins. I think this had pilling. If you don't know what pilling is, it's there we go. If you don't know what pilling is, it's when the fabric forms little balls, little burrs. The step before pilling is like when it gets all fuzzy. So that's good to disclose. Anyway, there were other sales. Sales have been touch and go, like I said, but so it goes. So it goes. So good luck. Hope it helps. Thanks for watching.